It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Hey, it's 10 a.m. and this is Utah's best sports radio.
Say my name.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb.
You're damn right.
Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I can go back.
You're stuck now.
I can go back. Hey, look. I'm here now.
See, Lloyd, there's hazing rules around here, right? Like, I got to imagine what you're doing to coach right now is not okay. Like,
you got to imagine what?
I walked around the parking lot down there trying to find a bank of elevators because would you think there'd be a map maybe in the paperwork I get from Lloyd? No. You know, I get here, they're telling me to log in with a company computer. I don't have one. And so, like, 10 minutes, they'd rush me down to get I mean, good heavens sakes.
I love it.
Woo! Welcome to the show, Tim.
Oh, man.
I feel really welcome, by the way.
Hey, look, I love you. I'm glad you're here. I'm happy you're here.
I can see the frustration on your face right now.
And, he feeds off that, too.
Well, I'm here to play the game, I guess is what I'm saying. The gloves are off. Yeah. Ray Jack used to say it. Guys, the gloves have got to come off.
Got PK over here. Hi, PK.
I was just reading this. It was a little oh, man. You know, the thing that I've learned through all this transition is Scotty's friendships are very transactional because you're his new love.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So what you're saying is it doesn't mean anything? Is that what you're saying?
I'm amazed you're still married to the same woman.
Well, you and me both, actually.
Oh, there you go.
Baby, I'm amazed at the way you love me all the time.
The best non-Beatles song by a Beatle.
Without a question.
And I argued there's a certain coach.
Blackbird may be close.
There's a certain coach who thinks he's a big shot now that he's in the Big Ten. He and I have had a knockdown drag out. He wanted to go with Imagine. And if he wasn't tougher than me, I would have slapped him.
Well, I think that Imagine has merit, at least.
I mean,
it's not like
in
just
the conversation.
But not compared to I'm Amazed.
That's pretty, yeah, it does make the hair stand up on the back of my neck.
Oh my gosh, top 5 song of all time.
So, over a bunch of Beatles songs, you're saying?
Yeah,
that?
Oh yeah.
All right, so if you were to rank like the top 5 Beatles songs, or top 3.
It's impossible.
It's too much Sophie's Choice going on. All right.
Yeah.
I got
Come
you.
together.
Right now, over me. Yeah, it's like asking me to rank my top 5 at ASU. I can't do it.
There's so many to choose from.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's quantity and quality.
Right. It's a good thing I didn't get my master's and doctorate there.
Herm Edwards.
Oh, jeez, may he rest in peace.
That was a chapter for you, the Herm Edwards chapter.
He sucked.
Whoa, there's a lot going on in Arizona. Then
COVID, man. Come on, campus. We're good.
He was
the more the merrier.
Herm Edwards to me is what Brent Guy was to Scotty.
See, you could go Dave Arslanian, Brent Guy. Like, we got a lot we can choose from.
That's actually, you do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
On both sides.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Man, you guys have quite a reunion when you get together.
Brent Guy, by the way, former defensive coordinator of Arizona State.
So I brought it up.
Yeah.
That is, I'll tell you what, you want to talk about a crazy world in coaching and athletics. We talked about it yesterday. Scotty was talking about a kid that he got in contact with through a mission president and ended up,
Now the kid's making $1.8 million.
He's on the market for $1.6 million, just 1.8. And Scotty, is looking for a little finder's
Is he a
fee.
player?
Yeah.
Shot 34 from 3, 7.
Okay, if he's a player, so be it. I think we all have problems with some of these kids that are just not just kids, but I mean in the pros too, getting all this money and just aren't worth it.
Yeah. No, this kid, he's a good player. He's a really good player.
Michigan State?
Michigan State, I think he's committed to Michigan State. Yeah. Kansas came in late and offered him a ton. Yeah. And but he's going to play for Izzo. But I'm like, where's my 3%, 5%?
And honestly, he goes plays for Izzo. You might find him in the league, too, right? He will develop some things that he hadn't been taught before. Back in the day, I heard rumors that they would play in they would put wrestling pads on the floor, and they would play in pads, basketball. It was like a contact basketball. It'd have helmets and everything, and you would just play. No dribbling, just play, bang everybody around. It was just for physicality, just to instill it in the culture.
Hey, I know you had some breaking news near the end of your show that kind of falls into this. All right, so gather around the radio, folks. Yeah. If you haven't heard, AJ Dybantsa made his announcement. He's going to the NBA.
Good for him.
Where
it belongs.
Like anybody. Like I was telling Lloyd, I had a family member who's like, hey, I hear AJ's coming back. I'm like, he's not coming back.
He'll come back, but not to play basketball for the Cougars.
They'll pull a Deion Sanders and put his name in the rafters, and they should, enjoy it, But the greatest 8 months, like my LDS mission, the best 8 months of my life,
Lee Kamard.
My first.
That's why I used to call him 8 months.
No,
I did. I mean, hey, we're brothers. We can do that. He would laugh too.
Instead of 8 Mile, it's 8 months.
It's 8 months. We got 8 Mile down there, Elder 8 Mile, and Elder 8 months.
Yeah, my first marriage.
Love you, sweetheart.
Oh man,
it happens. Well, he had to go. The system demands he goes.
Yeah,
this is what these guys do.
Hey, where are you on? Like, there was all this talk when BYU got beat in the tournament that what a waste of money, all that. I mean, I don't know that anybody understands what it costs to get a full page.
I know,
or a full billboard in Times Square. Right. Just that alone. I do know what billboards cost, by the way, around here. I heard that.
Oh, yeah, we tried to get some billboards, and they were apparently pretty pricey these days.
We had them back in the day.
I know.
I used to be on.
And I know. I wanted to recreate that a little bit. And,
I understand. Yeah, we were on bus boards way in the
I
early
remember
days,
that.
too.
I about wrecked 3 times when I come around the corner and see PK scowling at me. Took it right into PK's grill.
I don't think that any money that was spent from the BYU perspective on Dybantsa was a waste of money.
No. You got a lot of good ROI on that one.
My point is, the bottom line is, they brought Yegor year one, high level, well thought of, lottery pick, and everything went so well, right? And he found himself about mid-year, and then he's actually really flourished in the NBA. You get AJ, you get a crack at the nation's best player. And, the biggest thing you said there, he will come back. And he's a BYU, he's really, they did a great job at explaining to him what it is, and they've embraced it. And he's going to be so good for the brand.
There's no question.
And now they got Branch next year. They're already in on the number one guy the next year.
Yeah.
I don't know if people check, but when we were recruiting dudes, we were in a different pond. So I would say this is going swimmingly.
Yeah, I think you were in a puddle in the West Coast Conference.
Pardon the pun, swimmingly. Get it?
Nice.
Thank you. I'm not a writer.
I'll call you
either.
Timmy Swims.
Hey, that's not bad.
I like that.
I think that there was money well spent. I think that Kevin Young will learn going forward, maybe how to construct a roster a little bit better.
I like what he's doing already.
It's clear.
Next year's team will be better than this year's team,
no
even without AJ Dybantsa.
They need some big guys.
Yeah, that's the $1 million question there. Well, probably multiple $1 million question.
Which is kind of funny because back in the day, in Roger Reed's day, it seemed like they had 14 guys who were above 6'10". Big white guys they grew on trees.
Oh, they do.
And get some guys in there. They need more. We saw that the Texas kid just ate them alive. And after that game, I'm in Portland, and I stand right in front of AJ after he comes back and he's in his locker. I say, is this going to be a one and done in terms of your connection to BYU? Do you see yourself having a lifetime connection to BYU? Definitively, absolutely. There's no question. I mean, this was a great success story that BYU should put on a pedestal as far as an all-LDS kid, if you want to throw in an African-American and all that stuff, and everything he stood for and what BYU meant to him and what he meant to BYU. They could have lost every game practically, and that would be an extreme. But all the stuff that he brought and will continue to bring, because Kevin Durant, call Kevin Durant. Well, 10 years from now, call AJ Dybantsa.
Yeah, yep. I mean, it's like, the way that I'm spacing his name, Damian Lillard represents Weber State. I mean, the guy talks about Weber State constantly. Imagine that on a much bigger platform, with AJ Dybantsa referencing BYU like crazy. It's going to be that same type of relationship.
I agree 100%. So that was something that really worked. It's a shame they had injuries and things didn't pan out the way they wanted, everybody wanted. I get that. But it was still a great experience. I mean, Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper didn't even make the tournament out of Rutgers, and nobody talks about that.
Nope.
What was it, a lousy investment for those guys? I think that the thing that nobody talks about with the Rutgers, because Rutgers doesn't have a rival, BYU has a rival, and they want to bleep on their grave, and that would be Ute fans. We get that. That's what a rival is about.
And speaking of Utes, Alex is putting together we talked about it yesterday, but he's doing a nice job of same thing, understanding it's not necessarily about the stars. It's about, actual game applications, stats in games, guys that have specific qualities. I really like the TJ Birch kid, watching his tape out of Wright State.
Out of Wright State, yeah. Didn't Utah State got a Wright State kid?
They did.
And then
BYU got Rob Wright.
That's
Holy
right.
Cow.
A lot of Wright going on.
He said in the
Go
deal.
home and watch the right stuff.
It was interesting. He said, he thought of leaving, and he got out and went on that visit. And he came back. He's like, I don't want to play for another coach.
Oh, you're talking about Rob Wright?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm expecting a Mark Pope line here, though.
No, I just saying it.
He went to Kentucky. That's a great break for BYU, huh?
Yeah. I mean, we couldn't beat him. We couldn't beat him at Utah. We couldn't beat him at Utah, Kentucky, but BYU's beating him repeatedly now, like every year in recruiting. So they're already off to a kicker start.
I only know what Timmy Swims told me.
That's right.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. Whiff.
Well, a lot of pressure on these guys to get these players. I want to see what Alex gets. I mean, there's a lot of players that I'm unfamiliar with, and we'll see what he brings together.
The tape I've watched of some of these European guys, like they're guys. I just didn't feel like Terrence Brown was good last year, but he was just playing in a puddle of mud. There's just not a lot of spacing, not a lot of shooting around him. So he goes to North Carolina.
Right.
And then obviously Dawes goes to Kansas, which surprised me a little bit, but not really. I mean, they love those big guys that move people around, mover blockers, as Majerus used to say.
Uh-huh.
But no, I think both teams, BYU and Utah, are doing a better job in year 2 of trying to figure out how to, or year 3 for KY, year 2 for Alex, but try to put the roster together in a meaningful way.
Right.
But the interesting thing, and I was talking to a college coach about that, and he was saying, okay, so the high level talent gets gobbled up really quickly on these multi-million contracts, and then you would think that the price would come down on these players, but because of the scarcity, these guys still keep getting their prices up high. So there's never any de-escalation on the value of some of these players, because all of a sudden you got like a guy like Mark Pope, like, okay, I whiffed on this guy. We cannot whiff on this guy. Throw all the money at him. When in reality, he's worth maybe 2/3 of what Rob Wright was worth. But he's going to get the same money that they were offering Rob Wright because they're desperate. He said the reek of desperation out there is just driving prices through the roof.
That's the business world, Scotty. You can recall about, what was it, almost 20 years ago now?
I like how you have a smile on your face. You know exactly where you're going.
Because there was 3 guys that left one station, you included, and we went to the other station, and then the guys who stayed behind, their value went through the roof.
Oh, boy.
We made those dudes money by leaving because then the other station was extremely desperate. They had to maintain and retain those guys, and they gave them big, big time money to where the Salt Lake Tribune does a story on the radio wars, and you might have been quoted.
Yeah.
And our dear friend Gordon Monson, who still works for the Tribune as I did, had the greatest quote ever in the Tribune history. you guys would be blown away at how much money we're making.
If you had any idea the amount of money I was making.
Which was a big middle finger to all the reporters and editors at the Tribune who hated the fact that we were doing radio. And he stuck it to them.
Hey, Gordo can do that.
Oh, yeah.
There were times where I wanted to have a conversation after some of our bad performances with old Gordo.
That was I still tease him to this day about that quote. And that's right. I mean, the salaries went up, so it's the same type of deal because you can't be standing here empty-handed, especially at a place like Kentucky, a true absolute blue blood for all time, right? And so the pressure that's on Mark is just amazing. I mean, but he had to know that going in. The pressure on all these guys is amazing, but it's even more so at the blue blood where a Sweet 16 run is a ho-hum.
Yeah. But, for Mark, it almost feels like he's dead man walking right now. You hate saying that.
Well, and Billy Donovan's hanging around now, too.
Yeah, you got Billy Donovan that's on the open market. Like, it's a tough situation. And these boosters, man, they want you gone. It doesn't matter when or it doesn't matter how much it costs.
Right.
I want him out, and he's gone.
Yeah, I know. It does look like he needs to have a big season in 26, 27, hopefully for him. He can do that because the expectations are so high. But that's what these guys sign up for, man. And I think they know it going in, that you're going into the pressure cooker big time, and you've got to win. Morgan Scalley's going to face that this year, obviously. You got to win, and then what do you got to do after that? You got to win some more.
Got to win some more. Yep.
Yeah.
I always think it's incredibly difficult for these guys like Ty Detmer, Heisman Trophy winner, accolades all over the place. Ends up getting fired as an offensive coordinator. And it was absolutely the right thing to do for Kalani Sitake.
There's no question. They had to do it.
They had to do it. And it's like if you go back to your alma mater or you're coaching at your alma mater, you have a little bit of a honeymoon, but it gets wiped out really quickly.
2 years, right?
Yeah.
In his first year, he had Jamal Williams and Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
Second year, he didn't, and things went sour. And to the point where when they hired Jeff Grimes, there was an administrator at BYU who got about this close, 2 inches from my face, and said to me, "This is Kalani's hire now," meaning that Kalani did not hire Detmer, and then now with Grimes, if he fails, you better not get on my crap because I didn't do it. I'm not naming names, but we'll see who your guests are later today.
So, anyway.
But that's big business, man.
Yeah, you don't mess around. I mean, it is, what have you done for me lately?
That's what's awesome to see BYU really elevate themselves into we are a player now.
Yeah,
We're not kidding around anymore. We're not trying to shoestring it. We're not trying to ham and egg it. We want to win. We want to win at the highest levels. Sure, we've got our standards, and we want to keep them, and I respect that. But in terms of finances, which goes a long way towards winning, they're in the game.
Yeah. I was I won't tell you who the coach was, but he was he's a coach in the Mountain West, and he's got very familiar and some ties to BYU and knows the BYU program really well. And we were in a hotel lobby watching a BYU game, and he leans over and he goes, "You saw my team, right?"
Football or basketball?
Basketball. And he goes, "You saw my team last night?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "We look more like BYU than BYU does." I mean, it's a new era of BYU basketball. And I love the fact they've jumped in and said, you know what? This is a great opportunity. And you find guys like AJ Dybantsa, who's going to go on day one of the first pick of the NBA draft, and hopefully he ends up in Utah because they would sell out Dybantsa jerseys in the first 30 minutes that they issued him. And that would be a huge boon to this team and what they're trying to build there. But honestly, he'll be at that draft. He'll probably open up his suit coat and has a BYU logo in there. He'll continue to promote the BYU brand, and it'll have ramifications for classes yet to come.
I believe it will, and most especially if the fates transpired for him to be in town. Wow. That would just be unbelievable. And the kid and his family like it here. Good for them. I'm sick of all these guys who don't live here saying this is a crappy place. Spend some time here and then tell me about it. And maybe it's just that would not only be a chip away, it would be almost like just totally eliminating this theory that certain types of players at the professional level in the NBA can not only be happy here, they can thrive at the highest levels.
Yep, absolutely. BK, thanks for hanging out, man.
Question, man. What are we on, day 4?
This is day 4, yes.
Hey, how did the league go Tuesday? Did we place? How'd we do?
I missed a putt that really got under my skin that I missed it because I read it wrong. And then, of course, to torture myself, I went and got the ball, placed it back in the same spot, hit it again, and went right in.
I'm a second-team All-American every time.
Yeah.
You got to look at it, you can knock it in.
Yeah. But the good thing is there'll be another Tuesday.
There's always Tuesday.
There
Always
you go.
next Tuesday.
Absolutely, guys.
Thank you, PK.
All right. I'll be listening to you in the car on the way home.
Patrick Kinahan every day from 6 to 10 right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. By the way, DJ just texted me. I got to see what DJ's saying. Oh, okay. Never mind.
Not to be read on.
DJ says hello. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Coming up next. Speaking of David James, he was there last night. Messi in town. Was that worth the hype? We'll talk about it next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The Jazz, the Mammoth, and the Utes, Cougars, and Aggies. When it comes to sports in Utah, we've got you covered. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. The Messi show has come and gone. He played all 90 minutes, did not score a goal, and there for a moment, RSL was hanging in there. But, 83rd, 84th minute, give up back-to-back goals. And, Miami escapes Salt Lake with a 2-0 victory. Did I say it right, 2-0?
Yeah,
Is that the right verbiage? Yep. Scott Gerard, the coach, Tim LaComb, Alex Nepolis, kind enough to hang out with us. Soccer insider, soccer educator, everything that we're not in when it comes to soccer. All right, so how'd it go last night? What do you think? Was it worth the hype?
I think it was worth the hype, and I got to give a lot of credit to everybody who showed up to the stadium. That was probably the most packed I've ever seen the stadium prior to first kick, prior to warm-up starting, and obviously everybody's there to see the number 10 in the pink jersey. The spectacle was amazing. The fans put on a show. The Real Salt Lake and everybody out there put on a show to make sure everybody was taken care of to go see Lionel Messi, and it was great to watch Lionel Messi do his thing.
Was it impressive in person as you thought it was going to be, even without scoring some crazy goal?
Yes, just because it is Lionel Messi, just because it is one of the greatest players of all time, and to have him here in your backyard, to have him at America First Field, I think that it was a pretty special moment for the community and for people who follow the game.
What was I saw some video. I mean, outside as the players arrived and everything, the lines up and down the street were phenomenal. That's completely different than anything. How did everything go well? I mean, was the event itself, everybody move around, everybody had enough space, everything was good that way?
It seemed a little bit chaotic, and even when I pulled up, so I it's a Wednesday night. I thought about traffic. I wanted to make sure to get there plenty of time. I think I pulled up at 4:30, and the bus gate where the bus pulls in was jam-packed with people wearing the Argentina jerseys, wearing the pink jerseys, and everybody was there ready, like waiting for him at 4:30 at the bus gate for Lionel Messi to arrive. And so there was a lot of commotion as far as people wanting to see him, but I think overall everybody luckily behaved themselves, and it turned out to be a fun night.
All right, so if there's a guy who runs out onto the field and I'm Messi and he's coming at me like I'm going the other way, he hugs him.
Yeah.
He hugs him. Like, you don't know what that guy's got, you don't know what weapon he has or anything like that. And the dude Messi's like, all right, you bring it in here. Let's go.
Yep.
Unbelievable. And then the guy just gives himself up to security after that, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's all you wanted. You just wanted to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Touch the greatest of all time and hug the greatest of all time.
I wonder what the fine is. We could, is it worth it? It was like a meet and greet after a concert, but he just made his own.
He might have a record for a little bit.
Yeah, he'll probably be banned from arenas and events going forward. But I mean, if you can turn that into, I guess going out there and hugging Lionel Messi, then I guess that's great. But I think that's awesome for him to and just take a little bit of a moment to embrace him. I know you don't want to encourage that, right? Everybody stay in the stands. Everybody, behave yourself. But I think it is awesome for him to kind of go out there and take a moment to greet the fan, make sure that they're taken care of, and then he can walk off.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. How was the game itself? I mean, action, fun? Was it blasé? How'd the game itself go?
I thought Real Salt Lake started off well. They had a great opportunity off of a cross into the box for a header that was very, very close, and they could have taken an early lead. And then they do score a goal earlier. They do score a goal, and it's called back for an offsides. And so they start. Was
it legit?
They start off hot.
Legit call.
It was a good call.
Okay.
They started off hot, and they started off with some really good opportunities. But then after that, they kind of fizzled out, and it became a bend, don't break defensive performance for Real Salt Lake, where it was just, hey, let's make sure Messi doesn't get the ball. Let's make sure Messi doesn't have the space to do what he wants to do. And it kind of turned into, we're going to sit back. We're going to make sure that Messi can't get involved too much into the game. And then they did a good job holding it up. You go into the halftime at 0-0. But it felt like at moments Real Salt Lake were really sloppy in the attack going forward. They were really the passing wasn't as crisp as it was the last couple of games. And there were moments where it was kind of like, hey, these guys they're young, right? There's a lot of young guys on the team, and you can tell in moments that there was little feelings of where they were a little starstruck.
Yeah. And it seemed like that went on the longer the game went on, too. You would expect that to be a little front-loaded, but no, it seemed like the more they were hanging in there with them, the more they were like, I can't believe it's still 0-0 going on here.
And I think that's kind of what surprised me about the game was because Pablo Mastroeni, he's a mentality monster, and what I mean by that is he's really great at making sure that his guys are ready for the big moments. His guys are ready for these type of stages, and he really focuses on the mentality side of things rather than the tactical or the performance side of things to make sure that guys are in the right mindset to get things going. And so for them to come out and be a little bit starstruck throughout the course of the game, that kind of took me by surprise because that's just something you don't necessarily see from a Pablo Mastroeni side.
Alex Napolis, kind enough to join us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, part of the show. Appreciate you helping us out as always. So, all right, going forward, this RSL team had strung together a nice little run, suffered the loss give me your early season analysis on how good this team could be.
I think this is a team that can compete and probably should be competing for a top four spot. A top four spot in the Western Conference would guarantee you hosting some playoff games, would guarantee you hosting some playoff series. And so I think that they're good enough to be in that conversation. This is just their second loss of the season. They lost their first one against Vancouver to open up the campaign, but since then they went on a 6-game unbeaten streak, and obviously last night it was snapped. But this is still the second loss, and I think a lot of people still forget sometimes that guys that are contributing and guys who are major players on this team are still young. They're still learning. Guys like Xavier Gozo, who was on the show, a couple days ago. He's only 19 and he's only going to grow and he's only going to get better. And so, as the season progresses, I expect to see growth from him, growth from Luna, growth from a lot of these young guys. And then I think it's important to head into the month of June, coming out with some important results. There's a stretch here coming up where you go on the road to the Galaxy, on the road to Dallas, take on a couple of the Texas teams that can be really tough, but then you get the World Cup break. And so I think it's important to just go out there, move on from this game. It was a disappointing performance, but you move on and then you head into the World Cup break in a good spot. And in the back half of the season after the World Cup, you compete for one of those top four spots and host some playoff games.
Is Gozo on this roster when the season comes to an end, or is there going to be a cash influx coming Real Salt Lake's way?
If he continues to perform like this, there might be a cash influx coming this way. I think.
What's the rules? It can happen at any time, or
the next time he can go is in the summer.
Okay.
So the windows for European transfers are open in the summer and the winter in the month of June. So the next window that opens up is right after the World Cup, right around the World Cup. And so the earliest, if he goes, would be June. If he continues to perform like this, I think, I mentioned it with you guys a couple days ago too. His skill set translates so well to the European side and to the European level, and I think that if he continues to grow the way that he's growing and he continues to figure out some moments where last night, for example, he had a volley that he put over the net, didn't put it on frame, maybe rushed the shot a little bit, and that probably could have been his big moment to score on Inter Miami, right, and have his opportunity on that stage. But if he can take those the moments like that and learn from them and be more clinical in those situations, there's a good chance that Xavier Gozo potentially goes this summer. He's that good.
Last thing for me, how was the drone show? I heard the drone show was pretty good.
Yeah, the drone show, it was a good spectacle. And again, I got to give credit to the people down there at RSL for putting on a show for the spectators. Never before have I seen a halftime drone show for at the stadium. And so as soon as the players went into the locker room, all the lights went off. Everybody got involved with their flashlights and the drones were out. And so it was awesome to see them commemorate a big moment with making sure that everybody was taken care of and everybody could have fun with the moment.
All right, so I saw people chirping on the old X machine last night that they were upset that there were Messi jerseys for sale. Nobody's making you buy them.
No.
Like, you don't have to buy one if you don't want to. I don't know why everybody's all cranky about it. It's a little thing called capitalism. I don't see what the big deal is.
I get, why they do it. Why, if MLS and Fanatics want to push the jerseys, they want to sell as much as they can. They want to capitalize on the moment of, hey, Lionel Messi is in MLS and we're going to sell you these jerseys. And so I 100% get it on that perspective. But as you mentioned, like, no one's forcing you to walk up to the tent. No one's forcing you to go over and fork over however much you're going to fork over for a Lionel Messi jersey. If you want to, like, by all means, that's on you. But I don't see as it being a big deal as to throw as big of a fit about it.
Be happy people are tuning in.
Yeah.
Like, people
exactly.
It is amplifying the game.
It's credit to him. It's credit to Messi and the eyeballs that he brings, and that's just part of the Messi tour and what you get when Lionel Messi goes and visits you at your stadium.
If it would have been Cristiano Ronaldo, I would have been down there getting me a Ronaldo jersey. Absolutely.
I do know this. People spend a lot of time on stupid stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because that right there, obviously, it's the competitor, but you're in the same league. You're building the league. This guy just filled your stadium and gave you a drone show.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that's just the territory that comes with the Messi tour.
How much of the crowd was RSL fans to cheer RSL, and how many of them were just, hey, look, it's Messi. Let's go watch Messi?
I was surprised at how much wasn't there for Messi. And so when Lionel Messi first walks out to start the warm-ups, when him and Inter Miami come out, there's a good amount of boos that drown out the cheers. Like, there is a very audible boo for him coming out and taking the field, which I thought was interesting. I thought the moment he took the field to come out for warm-ups, that there were, like, everybody was going to cheer for him. And I'm sure there was RSL fans who were cheering for the moment as well, but for the most part, like, the boos were pretty loud. And the boobers were out for
if I'm him, I like that.
Yeah,
I don't want you guys kissing my backside.
Any competitor is gonna love that.
Yeah.
And then there's also a couple other big stars on that Inter Miami team. Luis Suarez, who subbed in late in the game, when he came on, I'm pretty sure the entire stadium booed because he's built a reputation for being kind of a little bit of a villain across the international landscape of soccer.
Well, we appreciate it. Great stuff, great coverage. And then Nate and Lloyd made you turn around and produce DJ and PK. So, wow.
Yeah, we're here. I'm excited for the opportunity, man. Last night was super fun, and thankful that I got to be there.
Were you hanging out with PK in the booth, or with not PK, DJ?
With DJ, yeah, we were hanging out and watching the game and
he actually let you. That's nice.
And enjoying.
You're just not allowed to make eye contact.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all.
Don't make eye contact with the talent.
Yes. Thanks, Alex. Appreciate it, man.
You guys.
There he is, Alex Napolis, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, take a break. What you may have missed coming up next. NFL Draft is here. Could be a big night for the University of Utah. We'll tell you who is expected to go and where next right here on The Zone.
The best sports radio in Utah is right here. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Time for another edition of What You May Have Missed, brought to you by Paris RV. Huge RV blowout sale going on now through Saturday at the Provo Town Center. 10 a.m. till dusk. Used RVs from all over the country have been sent to the Provo Town Center. Millions of dollars of high-quality used RVs ready for you. Don't miss the used RV liquidation event now. More information at utahrvevent.com. All right. NFL Draft coming up tonight, round number 1. And this time tomorrow, you, Lloyd, will have a new quarterback.
I'm so ready for that new chapter.
Fernando Mendoza.
Aren't you, Coach? Aren't you ready for that next chapter of Fernando Mendoza?
I mean, my years as a Raiders fan have been filled with nothing but Fernando. This is going to be my first guy.
It's so true.
I'm going to jump behind him.
It's true.
I guess I'm a Raiders project. Let's put it that way.
Look, I think that's what the Raiders have been in the NFL for a long time. Just a project.
Yeah, I got you.
That one's for sure. That's where he's going.
Yes.
There will be no drama there.
No drama there. The drama here locally is where are 2 offensive tackles going to be taken? Because I think this could be a huge night for University of Utah. We talk about AJ Dybantsa and declaring himself eligible and being an ambassador for BYU. The NFL draft has treated the University of Utah very, very well for a long time, and you're going to have Spencer Fano. He's definitely going in the first round. The question is, will he be a top 10 pick? That's the only question on Spencer Fano, is just how high he goes. And then you got Caleb Lomo, who might very well sneak into the first round. He could go anywhere. I've seen projections anywhere from 22 to 28, so good chance he goes in the first round as well. To have 2 of your bookends of your offensive line go in the first round, that shows you that the University of Utah prepares players better for the draft and the NFL than really the majority of schools in college football. And George Payton, who's the general manager of the Broncos, he dropped a line about Karene Reed saying that, hey, we signed him over another guy that we had them graded about equal because we trust guys from the University of Utah. We trust guys that come from there. We've had success with guys because they come ready to play professional football. They have a scheme that sets them up to be successful in professional football. We feel like they can transition quickly to what we're asking them to do, and it just goes to show a lot of credit to what Kyle Whittingham built, Morgan Scalley, what he's built, and will continue to build there at the University of Utah. This is going to be a banner day for the Utes.
It is, and it just speaks to the road graders that were out front last year. I mean, coming into the season, that's what everybody talked about was, this line, probably the best line in Utah history, and they didn't disappoint, and these guys deserve this. I am curious. Fano was listed in many mocks in the top 10, but has slid to about 11, and so I'm curious to see. I think the draft, from what I've seen, 1 through 7, 1 through 8 is pretty standard in terms of the guys taken, not necessarily order.
Oh, yeah.
But at 8, that's where everything starts to differentiate. So it's always interesting. It's always interesting to see if the team addresses a real need or if they get sucked into, a different avenue. And one of the first ones will be the Cardinals. The Cardinals are going to draft a running back. They're going to go with.
They're going to probably go with Love.
With Love, or are they going to go? The other one is Reeves. Everybody's talking about this dominant rusher in Reeves. Will he slip to 5? The draft I'm looking at today has Reese. Arvell Reese at 5, but they have him at 3. So I'm curious to see what the Cardinals do. Do they go take somebody that can actually kind of help the cause, or do they get sucked into? And you do. Love is probably worth it, but it'll be interesting to see what they do.
I'm always wary of taking running backs early in the draft because they better be able to come in and make a huge impact immediately, because their shelf life is really short. Like you get used, you get abused, and then you're out. You get maybe a 4 or 5 year run. That's great if you're a running back, if you're able to last that long, and then you get put on the old trading block, and then you play for 3 teams in 2 years, and you're just trying to carve out a little bit of money on the back end of your career, because it fades fast for running backs. And so you think, okay, let's go with offensive tackle, or let's go with edge rusher, some guy that we know we can build around for the next 10, 12 years, and then take a running back in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. We may not get that same quality of back, but we'll be all right because we can shuffle through running backs like they're nothing.
Yeah, and historically that's been the case. You kind of build the structure, and the skill players obviously that stand out, they're going to go quarterbacks, receivers. So it will be interesting, as always, in a couple-day event that draws the attention of the entire football world.
I love the draft. I love it. It's one of my guilty pleasures, even though the Broncos don't have a first-round pick in this year's draft. And I'm a diehard Broncos fan, but I'm still going to watch every second of it. And I know that's crazy, but I love it. I just think it's a perfect combination of the 2 huge loves of sports fans, college football and the NFL. And they come together as one on one night for the first round, then the 2nd and 3rd round coming up tomorrow, and then the rest coming up on Saturday, although Mike Vrabel will not be there on Saturday.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard he has other plans.
So when the 4th round begins, he wants to spend some time with his family and really focus on his family. So there's that chart when they make trades in the league that they assign points, point value. So a first-round pick, the 10th overall pick is worth this. So you want to so if you're making a trade, you have all these point values, and they've got to match up if you're going to make a trade. So essentially, Mike Vrabel has given a point value system to a 4th round or lower to his family. Because first round, no, not missing the first round, not missing the 2nd or 3rd round. No, I've slotted my family at a mid 4th round, maybe high 5th round value. So that's where that's the trade-off I'm going to make at that point.
Ouch. That hurts. I mean, that really hurts.
I mean, am I wrong?
No, you're probably right, but
wrong.
it hurts nonetheless. The other cool thing about the draft now is before, I remember back in the day when the draft would come up and you'd go buy your magazine. Or you subscribe to Mel's, you get the packet from Mel in the mail. All this stuff that's out there.
Watch how inaccurate he is.
Oh, my gosh.
Favorite.
Yeah, and then sits up there and acts, I called that one.
Well, yeah.
If he gets 1 out of 10.
And then if he misses on one, and then he's like, well, they screwed up. They didn't make the right choice. It's not my fault that they're bad at their job. Okay, Mel, calm it down a little bit.
Easy, Mel. But anyway, the analytics and everything that's available now, you can dig as deep as you want to.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And all right, so you made a comment yesterday that I thought was really fascinating. So you've received.
That'll be a first.
No. My guy can talk with the best of them right now. So when you get phone calls about players in the draft, you said leading up to drafts or combines or whatever, you'd get a lot of phone calls from coaches about your players. Part of you wants to fudge it a little bit, right? Because if they get drafted, that's a good indication of what you're doing. You can turn around and flip that into future recruits. And plus you love the kid. He's been part of your program. You think of him as probably a son. So you want to pump him up, but these guys want the real true evaluation of a player. So as a coach, how do you walk that line?
Well, I think you have, I remember getting instruction as a young lad. We used to study a little book that would tell you how to deal with the world for a couple of years. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And
I think I remember that.
And one of the things was, instead of throwing your opinion in there, capture it like a camera would. Capture the moment or the environment like a camera would, and just that tree's green, and that's what I tried to do with it. I didn't want to throw the bottom line is they know who this guy is. They know who as a player. So there's not going to be anything I can really upsell. I'm probably just best to do my best to say, this guy can really, really shoot it. Struggles with the handle, because these are things they see.
Yeah.
When they talk about attitude, I was pretty upfront. I mean, you have to own that as a person, how you treat people. And so, we recruited high character dudes, so it wasn't that big a deal.
But if a guy, has a penchant to maybe hit McDonald's and can gain a little weight quicker than maybe some other guys,
I would just say, nutrition's important.
Yeah, okay.
I wouldn't throw them under the bus, but there are ways to say it. And the bottom line is those calls, like I said, they lasted 45 minutes. And we're talking about, these were when JT, tested the waters, lead Kamard. They were guys who were well thought of, college players that were, probably not at that level, wanted to go get some feedback. But even then, they would do it. So, and then obviously the calls for Jimmer and Brandon. But you could schedule, a day in the off season. You'd probably go maybe 3 days where you'd do 4 or 5 a day. And that was pretty common during the draft time. Wow.
And, I'm sure a lot of how does he treat the janitor? How does?
Oh, for sure. No, they wanted to know. They wanted to know about the family. Do the family have realistic expectations of who this kid is? And
does TJ really want to be a rapper? Is that really what?
Right. I mean, and who are the rappers he hangs with? Is he East Coast or West Coast?
Is he a Tupac or is he a Biggie guy?
No, but it's crazy how deep they go, and rightfully so. They're spending a ton of money. They've got all the opportunity to get the intel. Why not get it?
Well, speaking of BYU, your old boss, Tom Homo, is going to join us coming up next.
Yeah, I figured football day. It's a football day. This is a football guy, and we're excited to have him. It'll be fun to visit with Tom.
Yeah, fired up. Always great to catch up with the former athletic director of BYU. Tom Homo next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.